Chapter 745, They Will Assume You're Afraid of Bayu. Bayu became famous at an early age and had experienced lots of underhandedness. As a result, she knew how to behave and how to handle matters. So, in the end, by using Hairu as a platform, she graced the international stage with her presence and eventually opened Yisheng Film and Television. These days, her and her husband worked hard together in Hollywood. The important turning point that Mo Ting previously spoke about happened during the time Bayu was still in Hairu. At that time she had a loving boyfriend who she had been with for many years. But, in the end, for the sake of future prospects, she had an abortion and broke up with the not-so-famous singer. For a female celebrity, youth never stuck around for long. So, there was no reason to retreat home before their career even started. Therefore, at that time, Bayu didn't hesitate at all. When her ex-boyfriend found out about her abortion, he almost fell apart. But, in the end, he maintained his composure and let her go. Perhaps to make Bayu feel regret, the non-ambitious ex-boyfriend suddenly woke up to reality and began to use connections to aid in his advancement. As a result, he was now a well-acknowledged mentor in the music industry. It could be said that Tangning and Bayu's goal was the most similar. But, if Bayu was in Tangning's position, she would never become an actress just as she was about to become an international supermodel, and she would never have a child when her popularity was at its prime. She wasn't crazy. How many people dreamed of being famous? Why didn't Tangning treasure the opportunities she was given? Bayu disliked Tangning because Bayu had sacrificed so much to get to where she was today, yet Tangning always seemed to prove her decisions wrong. Tangning had returned to work, so a concubine Ning, which had been in preparation for quite some time, naturally sent over their schedule. Although the producers had always said that Tangning was to play the female lead, they had never announced it to the public. Because of this, Anzihao once again contacted Tangning, "Are you ready to go on set?" A Concubine Ning was a long imperial palace drama. As soon as Tangning stepped on set, it would definitely take 3-6 months to complete. She liked the plot, but, "Let me think about it," Tangning replied. It was definitely a concern for her to be away from her babies for so long. "You can go home every day. You don't need to worry about not seeing your children," and Zihao coaxed her with a tempting offer. At the moment, quite a few other actresses have already accepted this drama. "If you don't make a decision soon, someone might steal the role from you." "Then so be it," Tangning smiled. "Can you think of anyone that's more suited to this character than you? You've already received the contract long ago, but you still haven't signed it." It's not that Tangning wasn't excited by a challenge like this, especially since she hadn't experienced filming in ancient attire, but she had her worries. "You need to give me an answer by tomorrow morning," and Zihao was filled with urgency. The preparation stage had already taken too long. Every day that they delayed it, the more resources they'd be wasting. "Okay," Tangning nodded. "By the way, didn't you say that Xinyan will have a role in the drama too? How's that going?" "She has something else that she wants to do," and Zihao revealed a rarely seen look of relief. Chen Xinyan now knew how to take a lot of things into consideration. She now spoke up about whether something was suited to her or not and allowed Zihao to finally see her possibilities of becoming a superstar. Tangning was indeed tempted to participate in a concubine Ning, but, as she looked at the sleeping expression on her babies' faces, she gave up on the thought. Good scripts were bound to come around again, but the time spent with her babies could never be reimbursed. Mo Ting seemed to have noticed her doubts, so, with his identity as her manager, he replied to the producers, accepted the role and told them they could now officially announce it. "The babies require company, but you also need to fulfill your dream. I've already contacted the production crew. You will be allowed to return home every day and no one will stop you from keeping the babies company at night. During the day, we will leave these two rascals with our mothers." As it was impossible for Bai Liu to take care of 2 babies on her own, Xia Yuling handed Tang Court to Tang Jingxun and stepped down to provide assistance. The baby's paternal grandmother was a biological researcher and their maternal grandmother was a famous businesswoman. Above all, the 2 babies were born into a rich family. So, there were no concerns regarding their upbringing. Tangning looked at Mo Ting and knew that this man understood her the most, so she did not retaliate as she nodded her head. Just because you aren't with them 24 hours a day, it doesn't mean you are not a good mother. Don't feel guilty. When I have time, I will bring them to visit you on set. Mo Ting would forever remember how Tang Ning learned how to act from scratch because of a stupid when she was just one step away from becoming an international supermodel. At a time like this, a lover's support was the best form of affirmation. Okay, Daddy Tang. Tang Ning's decision to join a concubine Ning was originally confirmed and the production crew were already prepared to announce it. As the entire cast was of a high standard, the male lead was not a young idol actor, but also an actor with great acting skills. But, unexpectedly, overnight, the producers of A Concubine Ning suddenly changed their minds. Tang Ning was supposed to play 2 roles on her own, but in the end, they decided to add an extra actress and arranged for Tang Ning to play just one. A Concubine Ning was indeed adjusted. They had previously established that this was a story about a concubine that got beheaded because she brought disorder to the imperial court. But, the twist was, the concubine did not die and came back from the dead with a completely different personality and eventually became a concubine praised by everyone. Afterwards, an identity battle ensues between the 2 sisters. This was where the producers added a whole heap of fighting scenes between the 2 sisters. The feelings evoked by the script suddenly disappeared. The originally detailed plot had suddenly turned into a story about an exaggerated Mary Sue one. So, after Zihao delivered Tang Ning the new script, Tang Ning had a quick look and threw it to the side. I don't care about whether I'm the female lead, but this character has become too single-dimensional. I don't want to act in something that's so exaggerated. It's been confirmed that the drama will have 2 female leads. Do you know who the other female lead is? And Zihao looked at Tang Ning with deep meaning. Beiyu. Beiyu is famous to begin with and she has offered to invest money into the drama. So, of course, the producers naturally felt this was a blessing. Beiyu has always been publicly acknowledged as a good actress. So, her presence is not expected to bring down the quality of the drama. She's indeed targeting me, Tang Ning smirked. Tang Ning, the drama has a complete script and professional post-production. No matter who acts in it, the result will not be that bad. Of course, the addition of good actors is a plus. If you reject this role and the drama becomes popular, the public will definitely have a lot to say. They will even assume that you're afraid of Beiyu. I'm not acting in it. Tang Ning replied decisively. You know how I am. When I accept a script, the other actors aren't the most important factor. The most important thing is the script itself. Do you think you can even convince yourself with a script like this? Chapter 746, If something belongs to my Ning, no one can possibly snatch it away. One needs to wait for a good script and I'm not afraid of waiting, Tang Ning said before she pushed the script back over to Zihao. Sorry, Zihao. And Zihao was stunned for a moment before he laughed. This is actually more like you, more like the Tang Ning that I know. That's fine, I respect your decision. This drama indeed has the potential to be a big hit. But, I feel that simply being well made isn't enough. The story itself is the most important thing. Only when a screenwriter's art is appreciated can a classic masterpiece be created, rather than having a moment of popularity and then being forgotten afterwards. Tang Ning understood this better than anyone. Soon thereafter, Beiyu received news that Tang Ning had rejected her role. In response, Beiyu was quite confused. Within China, a production like A Concubine Ning was already considered decent and was likely to be a big hit. Yet, she rejected it. Was it because her role as female lead had been snatched from her? Beiyu's lips curved upwards coldly. Wasn't snatching a common occurrence in the entertainment industry? How could Tang Ning be so petty? Beiyu really wanted to know the thoughts that were contained in Tang Ning's head. Was her brain made from bean curd? However, regardless of the reason why Tang Ning refused to partake in A Concubine Ning, Beiyu managed to create a hot topic of discussion. As a result, the following news headlines began to appear. International superstar, Beiyu, makes a comeback. Tang Ning's female lead gets snatched away. A Concubine Ning announces last-minute change to Beiyu. Tang Ning not fated to be female lead. All types of news articles spread like wildfire, but, it all came down to one message. Tang Ning was originally chosen as the female lead of A Concubine Ning, but ended up being replaced by Bayu. Everyone tried to guess the reason behind this. Since Tangning had just given birth, they assumed it was likely because her figure and disposition hadn't fully recovered yet. On top of that, Bayu was internationally renowned and couldn't be ignored, and her acting was well refined. So it made sense for the producers to choose Bayu over Tangning because she was better value. Tangning's the one that always steals others' roles. Now that someone else has taken her role instead, it's weirdly satisfying. When it comes to experience, Tangning is still miles from Bayu. So, it's normal for the producers to change people. Bayu was my dream girl back in the days. I never expected her to make a comeback. I'm really looking forward to it. Bayu has played so many classic characters. I don't even know where Tangning was during that time. Of course, Tangning's fans fought back. If something belongs to my Ning, no one can possibly snatch it away unless my Ning willingly gives it away. Don't make Bayu sound so sacred and out of reach. When it comes to acting, our Ning does not lose to her. How could you speak of Bayu? The roles she played in the past were all mechanical, no-brain characters. What is there to be proud of? There's nothing wrong with my Ning's body, and her kids are of no concern at all. Regardless of the truth, from the intensity of the argument between the fans, it was clear to see that a concubine Ning had become well and truly famous. Yet, at this time, Tangning could not step out to speak up for herself. If she was to say that she was replaced, it would mean that she wasn't as good as Bayu. But, if she told everyone that she had rejected the script and the drama became a hit, people would say that she slapped herself in the face and that she was stupid for giving up on a role that helped her advance. So, it wasn't possible for her to say anything. Of course, she had another excuse she could have used. She could have said that she had to take care of the babies. But, she couldn't use the kids as a shield. The truth was the truth. She could remain quiet, but she would never do anything that crossed her bottom line. Even Longji, who was pregnant, couldn't help but worry about her. Look at the way this woman has come looking for trouble. Did she come deliberately to steal your role, and did you simply hand it over to her? It's because I don't like the script. They've changed it too much, Tangning replied. If the script remained the same, she would not have given up on it so easily. What do you plan to do, then? Your situation is quite awkward at the moment and everyone is making their own assumptions. I'll just wait. Without a good script, all she could do was wait. I'm not used to seeing a person with the guts to bully you. But, bully? Tangning did not consider it as being bullied. In fact, she was the one that was bullying Bayu. After all, her babies were her strength. Meanwhile, Tangning may have simply rejected the script, but Motang ruthlessly followed Hairua's procedures and filed a lawsuit against the producers. Firstly, when they signed Tangning's contract, they had agreed to use her as the female lead, yet a second female lead suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Secondly, the producers agreed that the script would not change, yet it went through a massive revision. This was a complete breach of contract. But, of course, a concubine Ning had a strong backing. Since Hairua mentioned compensation, then they were simply going to hand it over. But, the producers of a concubine Ning verbally declared that they'd never consider Tangning for any of their projects ever again. Since the situation had been blown up so much and director Chanfeng was a man of integrity, he ended up quitting his position as lead director and left with Nzihao, which meant, the entire production was about to undergo a complete change. In the end, the words that Hairua couldn't say, director Chanfeng said for them. As the lead director of a concubine Ning, there are a few things I would like to say. Firstly, before a concubine Ning began filming, Tangning had already signed a contract for the female lead through communication with our assistant director, until changes occurred. Secondly, as soon as changes occurred, the first thing that Tangning worried about was not who she acted alongside, but the changes itself. It was because she felt that a concubine Ning had lost its original quality, that she decided not to take part in the drama anymore. It had nothing to do with sharing the female lead. Tangning is a qualified actress, so she refused to partake in this drama. And as a qualified director, I will also withdraw from this production. A statement like this immediately caused an uproar. The public had now discovered the reason why Tangning refused to take part in the drama. It was because the script had lost its original quality. As a result, Director Chan Feng's words not only slapped the producers of A Concubine Ning in the face, it also made Baiyu's fans blush in embarrassment. Tang Ning didn't want the role, she threw it away. Yet, their idol gripped onto it like a precious gem and was flaunting it wherever she went. Indeed, the drama was going to be a hit. But, it had nothing to do with it being a good drama. Tang Ning carefully selects her scripts. With President Mo by her side, she only accepts the good ones. Look at the films she's done in the past. It's obvious that she is a serious actress. This can't be denied. I hope Tang Ning accepts a different drama to compete with A Concubine Ning. How interesting would that be? But, where is she to find a good script with a big production like A Concubine Ning? It's impossible.
Hit the like, thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.